Welcome back on this glorious and amazing day, and let's listen in to the dialogue of Cinderblock and Feather. Wow, so nice to see you, Cinderblock. If you don't mind, could I call you Cindy? Of course you can. Call me whatever you want. Whatever floats your boat. Well, Cindy, you won't believe what happened to me this week. It sounded strange that life could be better when I begin to focus on myself, on my desires, on my life, on my DNA. And I went home. And I'll tell you the truth. I said, I'm going to do this for 5 minutes. And it was Sunday. So I went online because there was something in the back of my mind that I always wanted to go for years, to go see Rome. But I heard voices telling me it's too expensive, you don't know what to do, you're going to get lost, and all the negative voices. But you told me that I will start evolving from a feather into a cinder block if I begin with a simple exercise of 5 minutes. I hope it's okay, but I sat down with my computer for 5 minutes, and before I knew it, it was 2 hours. I got so excited, I realized it was way cheaper than I thought it was, and I started looking up online so much stuff about Rome and the things to do there and the ancient history. It was really, really excited. And what's even more exciting, one of my friends saw me the other day and said, "Hey, Feather, you look a bit excited." And I told him, yes. I had a dream about going to Rome and I thought it's out of reach, but I realized it's just incredible. Rome? What's so special about Rome, my friend asked me. And it was the first time someone asked me something and I knew a little bit more than them, and I got all excited. And they said they wanted to look into it too. So it's so interesting that you asked me and you suggested I do something for 5 minutes. But now I want to spend so much time on doing that, and that's just incredible, and I do feel better. Don't get me wrong, I still have anxiety, I still have all these worries, but you are right, I do feel much better. Cindy, I want to hear some more tricks. Could you give me another trick? For today, I'll give you one more. Can't wait to hear it. This you could try out for 1 minute, for 5 minutes, for 4 minutes. It sounds trivial, it sounds simple, but it does miracles to the brain. And that's what I did, and that's what evolved my feather into this beautiful stone that doesn't get affected from every small thing that happens around me. What is it, Cindy? Well, I sit on a chair, I close my eyes, and when I close my eyes, I focus on the feeling of my skin. So first I go to the upper back and I just focus of what the skin feels like. What part of my back is touching the chair? And I notice the top part touches more, and as I go to my lower back, it doesn't even touch the chair. Then once I notice the skin, the way it feels on the back, on the chair, then I focus on my arms and to notice the feeling of the skin, how it sits on my arms. And so I go through my whole body till I go down to the bottom of my feet to feel what it feels like. That sounds weird, Cindy. I know it does. But it works, and there's a simple logic to it. The logic is that you are focusing on yourself. You see, do you remember when you were a child and your father or mother sat next to you and they held your hand? They barely did that. I'm sorry. every time I tried to sit next to them, they always had an excuse why they were busy. And but yeah, very few times they did that. And it felt so good. That's why I wanted more from that. But they were always busy. They were always busy. And even when I got a few minutes, my mother always had to run to do something. My father was barely home. Well, Feather, the good news is this exercise does to your brain very similar to what it does to a child's brain. You notice yourself. You see, when you're worried about what people will think about you, how people will judge you, how people will look at you, you're basically giving the remote control of life into their hands. When you spend that 5 minutes and thinking just about how your skin feels, you're noticing yourself, and now you are in the picture. And with each and every exercise that you are in the picture of your life, you transform into a pebble, then to a stone, then to a larger stone, and eventually into a cinder block. Oh. Cindy, I have just one question. OMG. Why don't, if these things are so simple, and they are, because I tried them last week about looking up my desire to go to Rome for vacation, why don't they teach us in school? And I could see it worked for you because you were a feather and you turned into a cinder block. My dear Feather, wait for next week. And I will tell you why society, why your parents and why teachers do not teach this in school. On the contrary, they teach the opposite. What hurts us all, even though they don't mean to teach us that, they do that. Oh, Cindy, I can't wait for next week. Thank you. And always remember that I and you and everyone else is way greater than they think they are. Absolutely, Feather.